Moco is the newest game released by Supercell. It's an MMO where you walk around and bash monsters and pet cats, supposedly. So today we are going to take a look at all the weapons that you have found from level 0 to level 20, and I'm going to rank them from worst to best. What is the criteria, you might ask? We are looking at three things. The first is the damage, that is the overall basic stats that the weapon comes with. The second is the ability or the power, how it is versatile and how you can use it. And third, that is the ease of use, how easy it is to use the weapon. So let's go. On the dead last place is Toothpick and Shield. Toothpick and Shield is a melee weapon which deals area damage in front of you. It's a close ranged weapon, which means you need to have some form of gadget that can help you stay alive for longer. It has a passive ability where you can take 25% less damage from all sources at all times. For its main ability, after taking 15 hits from monsters, the next attack will be an area slam which deals damage and also stuns non-boss monsters. What makes Toothpick Shield the worst weapon so far is because it has no range. Its area damage does not make up for it and also has a very low DPS. When you are going to attack in a match, there is a big chance that most of the time you will be attacked at many sides and not just one. And because this weapon only allows you to deal area damage from one angle and not around, it falls flat. In order to make good use of the area damage, you will have to lure the enemies towards you by walking back and letting the enemies come to you. But that also makes you separate from all the other teammates who have been bashing monsters, which also leaves you alone. You have no heal support and it just doesn't help. The second reason why it is so bad is because of its DPS. It has a very low attack compared to how it is supposed to be a melee weapon. Sure, there is the shield, but it doesn't help you take down swarms faster because in an overall team, you need some amount of damage. As I would say, for its namesake, it does the damage like a toothpick. The third problem is that its ability is not in your own command and that it is also very hard to control. So you're saying that I would have to get into a bunch of monsters, get it 15 times, and then I will be able to area slam with my next attack. The problem is, it puts me into danger directly, just to be able to use my ability. I might be separated by my teammates from the knockbacks from all the bosses, which is not at all helpful. Number 7. The Staff of Good Vibes. It is a weapon with a twist. It can not only damage the enemies but also heal the teammates. It is a long range weapon and every 10th attack deals a 360-degree damage or heal. The thing about this weapon is that it is hard to control where the weapon attacks. Sure, it is written in the weapon itself that it will prioritize the closest teammate that will need your heal. But what if you want to attack a monster that is very low health and it accidentally shoots towards the enemy that is far away? The little amount of inconvenience is very hard to measure, very hard to control, and that is the reason why I'm putting it into 7th place. There is also the ability which is useful but also a bit basic, although pretty good in taking down swarms. Low DPS is also a major drawback where it also gets overshadowed by other options. Healing isn't very good either. You can just use any healing gadget or any healing passive ability and leave the weapon for attacks. Number 6. Monster Slugger. It does area damage in an area in front of you. It is a close ranged weapon, which means it's a melee. Every 4th attack it damages in the larger area and also slows non-boss monsters. Now, for a baseball bat, this is very good damage dealer. Almost always the best choice for damaging bosses or even swarms, mostly because its area damage effect is also very good. The lack of range does force you to get closer to monsters and take damage, which also forces you to choose more than one form of healing or shield to survive. So less damage from gadgets, which also means you will have to allot your gadget slots to something that is less lethal. At higher levels, this thing is very hard to use. Mostly also because it has very low range, but also because monsters deal a lot of damage. Just 2 swipes of any form of berserker and you are dead. Lack of builds with this weapon is also an issue because you always have to leave a space open for some form of healing ability. And speaking of versus mode, this is the least useful weapon. Number 5. Portable Portal. It does an area damage, it has long range, and when you fill a combo bar, it activates your rightmost gadget for free. Now, speaking of the area damage, it is not very good. Many times, one monster will take the hit while the rest are behind will remain undamaged. You might not be able to take full advantage of it. You might need someone to act as a meat shield, or you might need to group them up, otherwise the weapon just does not fulfill its job. And the area part is also very hit or miss. What makes this weapon more unique is not because of its attack but because of its ability. You can choose very good gadgets that can work pretty well in any map, but for that to happen you have to be in a very specific condition. And while I would have to say that this is a very unique weapon, it is not the best weapon. Number 4. Speed Shot. Speed Shot is a bow which does single shot damage over a long range, and after your attack, the speed of shooting the arrows becomes fast. You need to stay in that speed mode so that you can keep shooting monsters fast, because once you stop, the bar starts to lower down. You unlock Speed Shot later at level 20, which means it is very hard to unlock. I would have to be honest though, this is a very fun weapon to use. Keeping the speed high also makes you feel awesome, but coming to the caveat, it is very lacking without its ability. Single shot does make it balanced, because once you start getting in tuned with the weapon, you start dealing a ton of damage, and from a very long distance too even, which means that this is a very good weapon to use against hunting monsters, big monsters, but not the small ones. You can also use it in rifts, but it is not very good when you are going through the swamps until you reach the monster. It can be pretty good when you're using it in the end game, but you need to be carried by some form of area damage build to be able to prove its usefulness. Number 3. CPU Bomb. CPU Bomb allows you to throw your projectile over walls, and it also does area damage. Every 8th attack is a mega bomb that explodes and deals massive damage. It takes a little time to detonate the area damage, but when it does a ton of damage, and also stuns any non-boss monsters. It unlocks at around level 14 and 15 and can be very useful when you're attacking at swarms. Now Moco is a game about swarms defeating swarms, which makes it a very useful weapon when you're going through different worlds. But you can also use it in rifts, especially in the ones where you have to defend something or you need to clear an area. The ability attack is also very useful. It covers a very large area and also brings a lot of value to it. You can use it strategically while attacking bosses, stop attacking, and then only do it once when you know that a big swarm is coming. Number 2. Wolf Stick. Wolf Stick is like a sniper rifle which does single target damage over a long range. Its 6th attack spawns a wolf, wolf stick, where the wolf does its own thing. It does area damage, and every 6th attack of the wolf itself is also an area damage where he slams himself onto the ground and stuns non-boss monsters. What makes Wolf Stick the second best right now is because of its ability. The wolf is basically the best meat shield there is to be, and it also distracts boss monsters in any rift. Long range also allows you to damage from afar and stay safe. It also unlocks at a very early level, which is also very useful at early stages of the game. The wolf keeps the monsters busy while you focus on the main damage, and the wolf not only saves you, but many times your teammates' health too. It is also very good with many gadgets and passive abilities. And the best thing about this weapon is that it is very versatile and you can make many builds out of it. And now for the best. Number 1. Techno Fists. This weapon damages 3 targets at once. It is a long range weapon, and its speciality is that every 10th attack is a mega ball that bounces 10 times, does more damage, and stuns non-boss monsters. What more can you ask for any weapon in this game? Its ability is very simple. It is basically just the main attack, but bigger. But just because its ability sounds mundane does not make it any weaker. It is also best compatible with every gadget or any form of passive gear. It is very versatile, which means you can make a variety of builds and there is no end to it. It is also very good with almost every map and mode, whether you have to attack in a swarm or you have to deal damage to a boss. It's all the same for Techno Fists, because when you are shooting with this weapon, it is going to hit. It's also very easy to use. You don't have to worry about angles or positioning, and the best thing about it is that it unlocks very early. So that does it. This was the list. Sometimes many beginners might think that Moco is about unlocking better weapons, but it is not always the case. Sometimes different weapons have different capabilities. It just so happens that in a game like this, some abilities are better than others. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am Mr. J and I will see you again. And if you like any more of these videos related to Moco or Brawl Stars, do make sure to follow me and subscribe.